Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I said this is Intervlog, your #1 channel for in-depth reports, facts, and analysis about the new Africa that is rising before our very eyes. Today, we begin an extraordinary narration, a journey into the heart of Burkina Faso's transformation, a transformation led by none other than President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a man who is steadily proving to the entire continent that good leadership, courage, and vision can change the destiny of a nation. This report, dear viewers, is not just about rice. It is not only about agriculture. It is not simply about one processing unit in Kadogo. It is about sovereignty. It is about a new path. It is about Africa showing the world that we are capable of producing, transforming, and feeding ourselves with dignity. It is about a president who is not waiting for others to come and define our future. It is about a leader who has chosen to write history with his own hands and with the sweat of his people. And so, Intervlog proudly presents the monumental story of Burkina Faso's rice transformation. We praise Captain Ibrahim Traoré for being a good president, not just in words, but in deeds. We praise him for creating the foundation that is allowing the country to rise from dependence to independence, from poverty to prosperity, from uncertainty to hope. The rice transformation, a new dawn in Burkina Faso. In the fields of Burkina Faso, under the sun that beats down on the Sahel, rice is no longer just a grain. It has become a symbol of sovereignty. For decades, African nations have been trapped in the cycle of import dependency. Every year, billions of dollars leave the continent to pay for rice imported from Asia and elsewhere. Africa has the land, Africa has the water, Africa has the people, yet Africa was told to import. But under President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso has begun to change this narrative. Through the Agro-Pastoral and Fisheries Offensive 2023 to 2025, the government has made rice production and transformation a national priority. The purchase of hundreds of tractors, the opening of vast plains for cultivation, the mobilization of youth and displaced persons into productive work. All of these are part of the rice transformation agenda. Intervlog says this is not just agriculture, this is revolution. For when a nation begins to eat what it grows, it begins to stand tall in dignity. Now, let us move to the Kadogo region. There, in the commune of Komsilga, at Basamyam, something historic is taking place. A rice processing unit is under construction, led by the visionary promoter Mamunata Bazga Velegda. Viewers, let us pause and admire this. A plant with a capacity to process 400 tons of rice per day. Yes, 400 tons. Think of the scale. Think of the impact. It is not a dream. It is happening before our eyes. This is part of the national drive to add value to local production, to strengthen food sovereignty, and to reduce imports. And when Minister of State, Minister of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries, Commander Ismail Sombi visited this unit, on Monday, August 18, 2025, the entire nation took note. Because this was not just an ordinary visit. It was a symbol of government backing. It was proof that the highest authorities are not just talking about transformation, but they are present, they are encouraging, they are supporting. Intervlog must tell you, when leaders walk with the people, the future shines brighter. Viewers, the rice processing unit at Kadogo is not just big. It is the biggest we have ever seen. It is not just functional. It is the most beautiful you can imagine. The buildings stand tall like monuments of modern Africa. The machines inside, new, shining, and powerful, are a testimony to technological advancement and industrial will. Intervlog says, seeing those machines, one can only say, wow. They are ready to take local rice, polish it, package it, and send it into homes, markets, and supermarkets across Burkina Faso and beyond. The unit is a palace of transformation. It is a factory of sovereignty. It is a cathedral of food security. As one parable says, when the pot is strong, the hunger of the village is weak. This unit is that strong pot. It will feed thousands, employ thousands, and inspire millions. Now, let us look at the economy. The rice processing unit in Kadogo is not just about rice, it is about jobs. Hundreds of youth will be employed directly. Thousands will benefit indirectly. Farmers who cultivate rice will have a ready market. Transporters will carry paddy to the plant. Retailers will distribute packaged rice. Exporters will find opportunities across borders. Intervlog explains, when a single plant processes 400 tons of rice per day, that means farmers must cultivate tens of thousands of hectares to supply it. This means land is opened, water is managed, and communities are mobilized. Youth who once had no jobs will now have steady income. Women who once had no markets for their rice will now sell to the factory. Truck drivers, machine operators, packagers, marketers, all will find their daily bread. Another parable says, when the river flows, even the dry leaf floats. This rice unit is that river. It will carry along the unemployed youth, the struggling farmer, the forgotten village, and make them part of Burkina Faso's prosperity. But Intervlog is not speaking only for Burkina Faso today. We are speaking to all of Africa, because the lesson is clear. If President Traoré can do this, why not others? If Burkina Faso can build such a magnificent rice processing unit in Kadogo, why can't Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, or Kenya do the same? Africa's presidents must copy from Ibrahim Traoré. Yes, copy without shame. Because to copy what is good is wisdom, not weakness. To imitate success is not failure, it is strength. When African leaders invest in rice processing units, they invest in independence. They invest in the youth. They invest in sovereignty. They invest in the dignity of their people. Intervlog says, rice is not just food, it is power. And the one who controls rice controls not only the stomach, but the spirit of the nation. The visit of Minister Ismail Sombi also shows something else. It shows that the government and the private sector can walk hand in hand. The promoter, Mamunata Baska Valegda, has shown courage and commitment. The government has shown support and encouragement. Together, they are building the future. This is the model Africa needs. Not a government that does everything alone, not a private sector that struggles in isolation, but a partnership where vision meets support, where initiative meets encouragement. Intervlog praises Mamunata Baska Valegda for her vision, for her determination, for her commitment. We say she is an example to all entrepreneurs in Africa. She shows that the private sector can rise, can innovate, can build, and can transform. Let us use another parable here. A farmer who only eats the seed will never see the harvest. For years, Africa has eaten the seed. We have exported raw materials without transformation. We have sold our rice unprocessed, only to import it back in packets. We have depended on others to feed us. But now, under President Traoré, Burkina Faso is planting, cultivating, and harvesting wisely. We are building processing units to keep the value at home. And when the harvest comes, it will not be for others to enjoy. It will be for the Burkinabe people. Food sovereignty is not an abstract idea. It is the ability of a nation to feed itself from its own soil, with its own hands, and through its own systems of production and transformation. President Traoré has made this the cornerstone of his governance. The rice processing unit in Kadogo is not an isolated project. It is part of a greater vision. This vision, anchored in the Agro-Pastoral and Fisheries Offensive 2023 to 2025, is pushing Burkina Faso toward a new era. In this era, the wealth of the land is kept at home. In this era, farmers are no longer weak links in the global chain, but strong pillars of national development. In this era, the country is not begging for imported rice. It is proudly producing and processing its own. Intervlog says, a nation that controls its food controls its destiny. Why is Kadogo important? Because symbolism matters. Kadogo is not just a region. It is the beating heart of Burkina Faso's capital area. To place the largest and most beautiful rice processing unit here is to send a message. The transformation begins at the center and radiates outward. It is as if a torch has been lit in Kadogo, and from that torch, flames of inspiration will spread across the country. Farmers in Bobo Dioulasso, producers in Banfora, and cultivators in Solenzo will all see that transformation is possible. They will know that their rice will not rot in the fields. They will know that machines are waiting to polish, process, and package their harvest. One parable says, "When the drum beats in the palace, even the village hears the sound." Kadogo is the palace. The drum is the rice processing unit, and all Burkina Faso is hearing the sound. Let us return to the youth. Africa is the youngest continent on Earth. Every year, millions of young people enter the labor market. Yet, across many countries, jobs are scarce. This is the root of frustration, migration, and sometimes even insecurity. But what if Africa decided to absorb its youth into productive sectors? What if, instead of waiting for foreign investors, African nations built processing plants that created jobs? That is exactly what Burkina Faso is doing. The rice processing unit in Kadogo will need technicians to run machines, accountants to manage books, marketers to promote brands, and drivers to deliver products. It will need cleaners, security guards, engineers, and managers. Each role creates dignity. Each role puts food on the table. Intervlog tells Africa, "An idle youth is like an unplanted field, full of potential but producing nothing." President Traoré is planting that field. He is ensuring that youth are not left idle, but given opportunities to contribute and to shine. Viewers, let us talk about the machines. The new equipment installed in the Kadogo unit is not just metal and wires. It is a symbol of modernization. For too long, Africa has been the land of raw exports. We exported cotton without spinning it. We exported cocoa without making chocolate. We exported rice without processing it. But now, these machines stand as proof that Africa is rising into the age of transformation. They will wash, polish, mill, and package rice at international standards. They will ensure that when Burkina rice enters the market, it stands shoulder to shoulder with any imported brand, but with the pride of being grown, processed, and packaged at home. Another parable says, "A hoe can feed a family, but a machine can feed a nation." These machines in Kadogo are not feeding one family. They are preparing to feed the entire nation. Economics is not about isolated events. It is about chains. One link leads to another. The Kadogo unit is one link that connects to many. Farmers will cultivate more because they know there is demand. Transporters will earn income carrying paddy from villages to the factory. Workers will earn wages running the plant. Markets will thrive as packaged rice is distributed. Government will collect taxes from sales and reinvest in development. This chain reaction multiplies wealth. It is what economists call a multiplier effect, but Intervlog calls it by a parable. When one firewood is lit, it can light many others. The firewood in Kadogo is burning, and it will spread its warmth across the economy. There is also a cultural impact. For years, many Africans believed that imported rice was better, whiter, cleaner, and more prestigious. This was a colonial mindset that told us foreign is superior. Intervlog says, "To eat your own rice is to love your country. To consume what you produce is to strengthen your economy. To take pride in your rice is to take pride in yourself." Why other presidents must copy Traoré Africa is full of fertile land, water, and hardworking people. What is missing is leadership. That is why Intervlog says, without hesitation, other presidents must copy Ibrahim Traoré. Yes, copy him. Copy his courage. Copy his policies. Copy his vision of sovereignty. For Africa doesn't need more speeches. Africa needs more rice processing units. Africa doesn't need more theories. Africa needs more factories. When Traoré builds one unit in Kadogo, another leader should build one in Lagos, another in Nairobi, another in Dakar. And soon, the continent will no longer be sending billions of dollars abroad for imports. Instead, we will be building wealth at home. A parable says, if your neighbor sharpens his knife and cuts well, why would you refuse to sharpen yours? Let African leaders sharpen their knives. Let them build processing plants. Let them copy success. Let us also reflect on the promoter, Mamunata Bazga Velegda. She is not just building a plant, she is building history. As a woman entrepreneur, she symbolizes the rising role of women in Africa's economic transformation. When women lead, communities prosper. When women build factories, nations change. Her courage inspires other women to enter agriculture, processing, and entrepreneurship. Intervlog says, Africa cannot rise if half its population is left behind. Women must be at the center, and Mamunata Bazga Velegda is showing the way. Minister of State, Minister of Agriculture, Animal and Fisheries, Commander Ismail Sombi is the bridge between vision and reality. His visit to the Kadogo unit was not ceremonial. It was a demonstration of government backing. He praised the promoter. He reaffirmed the government's support. He made it clear that the rice transformation is not just private enthusiasm, but national policy. This is how governance should work. Leaders on the ground, ministers encouraging, government and private sector in harmony. Intervlog says, when the drummer and the dancer are in rhythm, the dance is beautiful. In Burkina Faso, the drummer and the dancer are in rhythm. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog, same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.